Hi everybody, this is Dan with Avantnovis. Today we're going to go over Wonderdraft and how to use it. This is basically Wonderdraft 101. First of all, when we load Wonderdraft up, we can see the version. We can see if it's up to date. We always want it up to date with the correct version. Right now, at this recording, it's 1.17. Now, what can you do with Wonderdraft? We can make maps that look like this. Highly detailed, refined rivers, boundaries, labels, everything like that. We can make these like really, really big if we want to. So this is what you can, and we're going to make an island today, kind of the same style as this, a little bit different. So let's go ahead and let us get started. So we open up Wonderdraft. Up here on the top left, we have our menu. We have new map. We have open our maps. We also have a help function. Menu is kind of complex, so you can open up your recent maps that you've done, but then you have your preferences and all this stuff. Don't worry about that. We'll get to that later. So let's go ahead and make a new map. To make a new map, we just hit new map or new. It brings this up and it lets us know what settings and assets are available in the map we're going to make. Currently, we're only going to be using the assets that come with Wonderdraft, and we're going to use a template, a pre-created template that it has been stored for us. So right now, let's go with a full 4K ultra high definition map. And we can either choose to be portrait or landscape. In this case, let's go with landscape. And this theme we'll talk about next. So let's go ahead and let's hit OK. It'll load our default symbols and textures and anything else that we have there. Let's give it a 1 second. 4K is an awful big program. We're also recording. So right now, this is the screen that you'll find. Right now, it's totally empty. This represents the ocean. Okay, on the left we have our menus, and below that we have the sub-menus of what we could do. Over on the right we have all the colors and stuff like that. Now, to demonstrate a very important aspect of Wonderdraft, I'm just going to hit this draw menu and draw just let's just say kind of an island here. Just really quick, really fast. Because the first thing I want to show you guys is this theme, new Open Save Import Export theme. A theme will allow you to change how your map works. Currently, we're in the adventure theme. We'll go through all of them right now. This is the black and white theme. This is the eastward theme. This is the feudal theme. And you'll notice each one changes the stains and the roughness of the map. This is imagination theme. Paper, pastel, and Terra and Worn. Right now, what I'd like to do is we'd like to go into the imagination theme. So again, how you do that is you click themes, you go to the imagination, click it, and hit apply. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's redraw this little island we're going to make. Oh, right now I'm going to click on the create button right here. It's landmass brush, or Z. I'm going to come over here and adjust my size over on the right here. There's our icon right there, and we're going to make an island. So let's make kind of a crazy little island, and with islands we're going to make them a little craggly. So they're going to have these crags. And I'm just shaking my stylus back and forth, or you can use your mouse and just do the same. And that's giving me this kind of craggly little image, craggly little outline of the island. And again, this is using the V, the land brush. That's kind of an interesting little island. Again, landmass shapes are an entirely different video. You know what? Let's give this a little friend island here too. Island with an island. Just off the coast there. Awesome. Okay, now we just have to fill this in. There's no fill button, so we kind of have to do this ourselves. So we'll go back to size to make this kind of bigger. Fill the outside first, and then we'll come into the inside with a bigger brush. So let's fill this outside stuff. And again, we're still using that V, that land brush. Nothing too hard. We're kind of taking our time, making sure we don't cover up any of the cool details. We're back here down with our little island. Fill that guy in too. Yeah, we might as well just fill the rest of this in. Okay, we have our little island there. But let's say we want to, it's a little too smooth, let's say. Let's say with our land brush, we had another part that comes down here. And do you notice how round, you get these rounded things here? We necessarily don't want that. So Wonderdraft has this wonderful little brush called, it is called our lower landmass tool. We just click on that, and when we go across, it creates this really craggly, cool coastline. Let's go ahead and zoom into that. I'm holding Control and zooming in on my mouse wheel, holding down space to move everything. And I'm just tracing this, and I'm just kind of going nuts with whatever it gives. And we're getting little islands off the coast there. That's absolutely fine. And again, this brush here. It is the lower landmass brush. It has two settings over on the right, a brush size and a roughness. Let's go ahead and play with the roughness. If we take it all the way up, it really gives us a rough line. If we take it all the way down, it gives us kind of this circly line. So we want it kind of in the middle for this. Again, I'm holding Shift to move, and I'm coming down onto the island with this brush to create more of a craggly, natural looking shoreline. Just run on the brush. Let's say if I feel like I'm taking a little too much time to make this. Actually, this is going quite fast, but I'll demonstrate on our little island here. See how that makes that a lot more realistic. Gives it a good feel on exactly what should be there. And again, that's with the lower landmass tool. I'm coming back here. This big old, it looks like a nose, I kind of want to get rid of, so we're just going to get rid of all this land with this brush. Now, I can get it with lower landmass, or I can get it with this eraser brush. Eraser starts out really big, so you make sure you need to pull it in. Let's go back to the lower landmass brush to help that out a lot more. Make that really craggly here. Let's go ahead and hold down Control and zoom out. All right, that's our island right now, and I'm not liking this part down here, so let's go ahead and we're going to erase this area. That's good. That looks a lot better. Feel better about that. Again, personal preference, and then come in with our lower landmass brush. All right. Let's say we don't want any of these islands. We can use our eraser tool and just kind of sneak up on them like that. Just really quick. Those islands, though, are kind of fun, so we'll keep a lot of them. We're just going to erase some of them. Okay, so currently we've made our land. Let's go ahead and once again mess with themes. Let's just check a couple other themes out. Let's go with Eastward. Excuse me. Apply that. There we go. There's Eastward. Let's go to Pastel. There's Pastel. That's kind of a fun one. And we're going to go back to Imagination because that's what we've been working on. The next step in making a map is, of course, kind of getting an idea of where things are. In this case, we're going to start adding some mountains to this map. Now, in the land section, we have a couple options here. Let's save this really quick. We'll call this stream map. We have another option that allows us to generate landmass, and this is the landmass wizard. If we click on that and hit, it populates a menu over on the right that gives us a roughness, a detail, water level. We want our detail up high, and we're going to generate a new map. Okay, not what we really wanted. Let's try another one. And I'm just using Control-Z to go back and forth. That's a cool little map there. I like that one. We can also adjust the water level, or we can invert it too. That's even better. I like that one. Let's go ahead and generate a new one. And that's just the wizard. It's pretty cool, but I like our island, so we're going to keep our islands. And I just hit Control-Z to come back to that. All right, a couple other things that we have here. We have a brush that is going to allow us to color our map. And we can also choose our colors here, or we can choose additional other colors. Now, something really important to note is if we change themes, so we go to a feudal, the colors actually change as well. So if we were to use one of the colors here, and we went to a different theme, like back to our imagination theme, the color would be different, and we don't have that on our palette. So that's really important to remember. You change your themes, you're going to change your color palette. Let's go ahead and look over at this side. When we are creating and when we are painting, we have three different types of brushes. We have a fade brush, we have a harsh brush, and we have kind of this jaggedy other brush that we can paint our land with. Now, usually with the land I paint, I always use a low opacity and this jagged brush and just do the little circles everywhere. And that will give us a nice little outline and a nice little image there that's very easy to add color to. Also, the fade brush is really good at this as well. We'll get to this color in a few. I just wanted to show you what's in this menu. Another brush is our area brush. You can do that with it. You can select stuff. You can erase, cut, fill, or anything like that. It's really useful if you have the time and need it. Let's go ahead now and look paths, then down to symbols. Symbols are things that allow us to place things on the map. Okay, there's three types of symbols. You have the actual symbols, and if you notice, oh, we don't want that. We want all of them. Sorry about that. We can have like bridges and ravines. And Wonderdraft has actually quite a lot of symbols and stuff like that. We'll be using a couple of these today. So there's our symbols. The next thing we're going to do is our regions, our tree brush. And these are the brushes that Wonderdraft comes with. I personally like this one a lot, or this one's really fun to work with. So we have our symbols, then we have our mountains. And again, when we do mountains, they just simply go like that. We'll be doing that next part of this island. And then we have eraser. If we put like some mountains we don't like, we just hit the eraser and get rid of them. Really simple, really easy. Then we have a select tool. Say we have mountain here, we can hit our selection and we can move those selections anywhere we want if we need to. But let's say we don't like any of this, and let's say we're going to just get rid of that. So right now, again, we're in our symbols. We were in our land. We're now in our symbols. Let's go ahead and put some mountains down. Let's choose, I don't know, let's choose these mountains right here. Maybe these guys. Yeah, let's choose these mountains. And we're going to make a mountain range right in the middle. Now, these mountains are way too big. So we're going to lower the size of that right here on the right. So half the symbol size. This placement rate is basically how fast they place versus slow. We're going to keep that about at 1. Placement density is how dense the placements are together. We want to keep that about a 1 as well for this. Now, another option is this spray brush. If you turn it on, it allows you to spray big circle of mountains right now or symbols. I don't like using this spray brush too much, especially with a small map like this. I want to have a lot more control. So let's go ahead and put some mountains. We're not going to go into geography. We're just going to throw some mountains down and see how they look. So we're going to kind of create this craggy mountain range right here. Right here. And let's say we have another mountain range right here. And I'm just holding down the mouse and placing these. Nothing more simple. Kind of coming out with this stuff, these little entries. All right, that's kind of cool. We got our mountains in. Let's now do some hills. Let's see if we got some nice little hills. Oh, those are a little too small, so let's zoom in. So let's up the scale of these by 70, and we're just going to put some small hills around the mountains, just like that. Now, I'm looking at these hills, and I kind of don't like what they're doing. I don't think they are representing things, so I'm just going to Control Z. Let's play with these a little more. Maybe that looks better. I think that looks better. Again, it's all subjective to the eye. So we're just going to add a couple little hills here and there. Nothing big. Just another little texture. No, don't like that. Don't like those big mountains. Yeah, we'll keep up with these hills. All right. we got our hills done. And this is basically, I work from mountains to rivers to trees when it comes to symbols, and then I do the rest of the symbols. So I'm just adding hills there, maybe some hills here, maybe some hills here, hills there, and hills there. All right, let's have a look at that. Okay, not too bad for our first little, and again, we're going fast. Let's next kind of figure out where our rivers are going to be. Now, for rivers, we go up to the water, the first option here on the left, and we have a bunch of different tools. We have our water tool here. This will change. We're at 0.18, just remember that. This will change the hue of the water. We want this guy again at 0.18. That's where we're at. Water saturation was at -2, and again, we can really mess with that, but let's go back to -2. Water value, we can mess with. And then stain amount. And let's say we totally messed these up and we can't remember what they were. We just go to theme. We go to the theme we want, in this case, adventure. We hit apply, and it makes it all good in case we mess something up here. So that's what the water does. This next tool is our rivers. The next one is our lakes. Next one is our freshwater brush. We can actually put little freshwater things like that. Or if we don't like what we're doing, let's say we had a bunch of lakes here that we really didn't like, we could come in and erase them with that. We can also color them. I don't really use this too much, but occasionally I do. And also we have little, for some reason they have this little symbol in the water menu that creates these little compass points. We're not going to use that. And here's our selector if we want to select stuff. So let's go ahead and do our rivers really quick. Now rivers, they flow downhill. They take the path of least resistance. And at times they will do something called bifraction. We're not going to worry about that today. We're just going to make our rivers. We start at their source and we just tap down the rivers down to the ocean. And when we get to the ocean, we double click and we have a river. Let's go ahead and zoom in this area. Let's put another river right here coming out of these mountains. And again, rivers take the path of least resistance, and they don't fork. They don't do this too much of the time. That's very rare. It's called bifurcation, but we're not going to, we are not going to worry about a river like that. So let's go back and do this river. Let's make him kind of squiggly. Go into the ocean, double click. We have a little, another river coming into this one. And let's say from these hills, we have another river that comes down. Just something fun like that. Let's do the same thing here. Maybe right here. I'm just adding these willy-nilly. Again, double click to add it. Kind of makes its own meandering. Now we can adjust the meandering difference of the roughness and the meandering difference. Let's say our river source fade in is really low. That will change this area of it. And our roughness and our width. We can make our rivers really wide, just like that. We don't want that. And if we don't remember where that was at, we just go back to our adventure, apply, close. Oh, it looks like it didn't track, so we're going to go about a 4 on our rivers. Roughness, we're going to go 2. We're just going to add some more rivers into this. Holding down space to move. Another river here. Escape to cancel the river. Another river here. Let's say this river becomes a delta. So it would have little splits off like that. And deltas are a little rare. Let's say this river over here comes out here and it meanders and gets a hold of that guy. Again, rivers don't do this. Okay, rivers do this. Very important note. When in doubt, always do that. If you have something magical there or like a big piece of hard earth, that's perfectly acceptable. If you look at where the Danube comes out, or also a lot of the rivers in southern China, you will find that a lot of the rivers actually bisect. Maybe become new rivers. Just something to keep in mind. There are exceptions when it comes to rivers everywhere. Okay, we're getting our rivers in. And I'm going to switch over to the mouse directly so I can double tap a little easier. And we're just putting a lot of rivers in. I'll show you why later. Let's go to our island and not neglect our little buddy here. Oh, it's looks like our... There we go. That's the width up. If you hit Control, if you hit your mouse wheel, it will automatically, whatever's on top here on the right, it will automatically adjust that. So be aware of that. So you want to kind of avoid the mouse wheel. And I'm down here. Ooh, crazy zigzaggy river there. And then a river here. Okay, we got our rivers in. Pretty snazzy. All right, so let's go ahead and get our lakes. Let's wonder to ourselves where lakes would be. And I think I'm going to put a lake right here. Let's actually make that a little smaller. Let's go about... Yeah, let's go about like that. Maybe we have a lake form right here where these two rivers join. Again, it gets big, and there's a little island there. And let's put in another lake. And again, I'm just using the lake tool. And we can add just lakes without rivers, just like maybe up by these mountains. Or maybe over here, these lakes turn into like swamps. You have the swampy area right there. I don't like the look of that. I'd rather do something different. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Let's go back to land. Let's go back to lower, and we'll just create some swampy looking lakes there. Now we can use this. If we use this up here though, see, it doesn't match with the river. So use your lake tool if you want lakes like that. Let's actually go back here. This isn't looking, there we go. And we'll add a swamp there later. Okay, we've gone pretty far here. Let's go ahead now and we're going to add some trees. So we go to symbols, fourth one down. We go to our tree icon. Now let's look at here and let's find some trees. We got that tree, very simplistic. We got this tree, which is kind of interesting. We got this tree. Let's go with these trees today. Now they're really, really big, so we need to make these really a lot smaller. To do that, we're going to, on the right here, move this down to 15, and then we're going to lock our scale. Actually, I'm looking at these trees, and I don't know if I like them. Let's go with these other trees. Let's go with these other trees. Let's move them down to about, as far as they will go in this case, 10 for high def. If you want your trees smaller, you need to start with a more high def picture. So let's go ahead and ask ourselves where we want forests. And our first forest is going to be here, and we're going to kind of just do little circles placing these. Now, if we go over one of the rivers, it is going to cover the river. If it goes over one of the mountain, it's going to cover the mountain. So we're going to keep kind of away from those because we don't want that per se. We're going to come really close to the river, then fill that in. Now everything looks kind of black and whitish. We'll fix that here in a second. We're back here and we're making more forests. Let's go up here and let's say there's another forest above this. Just comes down right to the lake. Now obviously this island's not too big. I'll show you, once we're done with this, I'll show you what we really can do. Let's say we have a big old forest all the way up in this area. Again, I'm doing little circles to blend, staying away from the rivers. Controlling my brush. If I wanted to, I can turn on the spray brush and go like that, but do you see how lack of control I have? So I usually don't use my spray brush. So just like that, come over by the rivers. Got a little close there, but I think I'm fine with that. There we go. Just to show that these trees are right next to this, and these go up to the hills. Comes down to the mountains, and we have this nice little... Oh, this is actually a huge forest. That's great. Maybe nice little clumps of trees over here. There we go. Let's put some more clumps of trees. Those are great. A little clump of tree there, and some trees there. Let's go down here and make another forest. Again, watching the hills, watching the mountains. There we go. Just happy there. I'm just throwing these in. I'm not worrying about rain shadows or anything like that. We're just doing this simple and concise. Putting more trees here. Always looking up, making sure that our symbol scale is always the right size. More trees here. Apparently this island has a lot of trees, but that's okay. I like trees. All right, let's go down to this island and let's just put trees. Let's put a giant forest down here. The south. Make sure we hit the coastline and all that stuff. Again, I'm just moving really slow, just holding down my mouse button. Make sure I'm not covering up any hills or mountains. Put a tree just right there for grins. Staying away from rivers. Okay, let's Control Z and zoom out. Yeah, we've got a fun little forest there. Okay, what we're going to do next is I'm going to show you how you can actually paint the map really quick and not have to spend too much time on it. To do that, we go back to our land, we go back to our brush, and looking over on the right side, we have, of course, our brush shapes, brush size, opacity, and velocity. We also have this interesting little button called Fill and this little menu button. To click the menu button, it brings down a list of things that we can fill. We can fill all with a color. Let's go do that. You can fill it like that, or fill it like that, or fill it with that color, or this kind of janky brown. But we don't want that. We want to, and of course we can erase everything. So let's go ahead and erase everything. Now with the filters, let's go ahead and turn the trees on and let's make all the trees green. We click on trees, we make sure there's nothing else selected. Click on trees and hit fill, and all our trees turn that color. Now our opacity controls how much color is in. So if we up our opacity and we hit fill, it fills the color totally. So now we have green trees. Let's go to our mountains. Let's say we want brown mountains. Let's go ahead, click on that, and we hit fill, and we have brown mountains. And let's say we want the land here to be kind of this orangish color. So we click ground, and we hit fill. And I know you can't see that very well. Let's go with this orange. Yeah, we can fill it like that, but I think we are going to be sneaky, and we're going to go with that green. Let's actually make another green because I want these trees to be a little more green. To do that, we have a little plus button here. We hit plus and we choose our color. I kind of want a deep green like that. Hit OK. It's time to fill the trees again. So we click off ground, hit trees, hit our color and hit fill. And now we have a lot of deep greens and stuff like that. So that's a really fast and easy way to color our map. Now, if we want to color the landscape, I'm going to kind of show you the technique I use to color landscapes, because right now it looks very flat and we want to add some color to show that there's like hills and other variations. Okay, to do this, I click on ground and I'm going to start with the mountains. We're only going to be painting on the ground. You see, if I paint on the trees, if all is selected, whoops. If everything's selected and I run my brush over, do you see how that colors everything? We don't want that. So we just want our ground selected. And I'm going to use the same color of these mountains. I'm going to go with a shaggy brush and bring the opacity down to about 70%, 50 to 70% or somewhere in the middle. And I'm going to color using circles the areas around the mountains. This is going to help the mountains blend in. I'm also going to color the hill area, but I'm just going to go one pass, about 50. Right now I'm at 60%. Because we're going to actually blend all these colors in. So we now have all the mountains colored in, and next we're going to do the higher areas. We're going to grab this kind of orange color, and now we're going to drop the opacity down to 30%. And the areas that are higher, we're just going to come in and we're going to blend in with the mountains, just like that, with this yellow color. If it gets too bold, we can always come back and we can color in. We can use that mountain color to help blend. You see, I'm just kind of staying away from that mountain color, but I'm blending it into this. We got to fix that right there. That's okay. But I'm doing little circles to blend. Again, circles to blend, sideways to create texture. I'm putting this yellow color in, showing that this is a higher area on the map. And maybe over here on these hills we have kind of a higher area, and maybe over here we have kind of a higher area. Do you see how when I put that yellow in, it makes the, like right here, it makes the land look a lot more three-dimensional. Down here on this guy, I'm putting that color in between the rivers. Just kind of blending there. Okay, looking good there. Looking really good there. Now let's go back to this green color, the opacity, and we're just going to bring the opacity down, and we're going to run this into the yellow a little bit. Do you see how that changes it just a little bit? Just kind of bleed some of that yellow off and create the more of that feel. But being very gentle, very gentle. We could even turn the opacity down to like 1% and add the green there as well. So very, very sneaky there. Okay, let's say we need some work on the mountains blending. We're going to turn our opacity down, and we're just going to come in and very gently do the same things with the mountains to kind of fill those yellow spots. And we're going to repeat this now. We do the mountains again. We come with our yellow. We're going to make our brush size a little smaller. We're going to do little circles. You see how that blends? And if you can hear, I'm going tap, 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 tap. That's kind of the sound and mouse clicking you guys want on this part. Just a tappy, tappy, tappy. Let's up the opacity there. Tappy, tappy, tappy. There we go. Cutting that brown back just a touch, nothing extreme. Tap, 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 tap. There we go. Maybe some hills down here, maybe a hill here. That's the reason why the rivers flow is you got hills. Let's say we want this green up into this river, maybe in this river valley too. So we create a valley there. Another valley there, another valley there. Okay. We've got our... This is colored. We're looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and grab this darker green, and we're going to fill in the coastal regions. We're going to drop our opacity to almost nothing and come in with a little bigger brush. We're going to start on the edges here, and I'm just doing circles where the water is, and I'm just coming into this land area. This darkness is also going to help us make the map pop. Again, I'm right here going slow circles. When I come into a river, I'm just going to travel up the river just a little bit. Same thing down here, up the river just a touch. Don't go all the way up it. Up the river just a touch. It's also going to make our rivers pop a little better. This dark green. All right. We are in a kind of a happy place now with all this. Now that we have our land, we have our mountains, we have the shape of land and stuff. Let's go ahead and we are going to start adding our new symbols to this. Okay, notice I just go up the green, go up the rivers, and now I'm just going to go up the rivers just a touch, nothing big, just as slightly as I can with a 0 opacity, just go up the rivers. There we go. Let's have a look at that. See how that makes your map pop? Makes it look good? That's what we want. Maybe just color in just some here, make sure it blends a little bit better. Stay away from the yellow. You're going to get a weird color mix. See right there? We don't want that, so we'll Control Z out of there. All right, looking good. So let's go ahead and add some symbols. Okay, we click on the symbol tab. It gives us our menu of 5 things. Also our colors and stuff. Let's not worry about this at all on the right side. So let's go click our symbols. And that populates us with this. We have symbol scale, we have colors, we have everything on, and we have symbol search. But let's go ahead and find some big cities. Let's go with this city right here, and let's find a place to put it. If I were a city, I'd like to be where there's trees and probably right here. So if we put that down, that's kind of hard to see. So let's go ahead and up the size of this to about 25. And again, this is just going to show where our big capital is. And let's say over on this island, we have another capital. Let's select one of these symbols. And let's say it's down here. We're still at the 25, but let's adjust this to be a little smaller. And we will put this right here. Okay, so we have two symbols right there. Do we like that? Do we not like that? That's a good question to ask right now. Let's put some villages in. So we have a village here that cuts wood. Let's go ahead and find another village. Maybe we have another village down here. Maybe this one's bigger so I can add another symbol. There we go. See, we have two villages over here now, and let's put a village over here. Now, I accidentally hit my scroll button, so it made it a little smaller, made it a little bigger. So we're going to just put some more villages right there, and they stack on each other really nice. Let's see, this kingdom only has one village, and there's a mining town. All right, and that's how you do symbols. Let's say also if we wanted a compass and ruler, we could do that. Let's maybe add that somewhere. Let's say no, we don't want that. Let's add a compass point, a rose compass point here. Let's put that rose compass. Do we have a bigger one? No. Let's go there. It's big. Put a rose compass right there. That's going to be fun. All right. So between the cities and towns, we're going to now go ahead and make some roads. To do roads, we click on the path, and it gives us two options. It gives us the path tool or the selection tool. We're going to click on the path tool, and notice over on our right, it populates a whole bunch of stuff. So let's go ahead and play with this. So it has a style of paths we want to make. We can do a little one like that. Let's increase the size. So double click to place. We can do a long path like that. We can do dots, any one of these. This is kind of cool. This button here, you can draw over. If we were doing a path, let's say from here to here, it would go under the symbols. If we click on this button, draw over symbols, it would go over the symbols. Just a good thing to keep in mind when you're doing paths. In this case, we're going to make a road. We want the roughness kind of to be up. Width, let's go down to, let's go down to 5. Let's go to our big city here. And let's click and, let's turn, make sure that these are under. And that is going right there. And let's do another path up to this town. Let's turn the roughness down because that's a little extreme on the roughness there. And let's try that again. There we go. Maybe a little more roughness. Just be, to have fun with it. Then we have this road. Nope. We want to click right on the road. Little split in the road, and that comes up over here to this town. So we got some roads there. Let's go ahead and make a road up to here. Cool. Let's say one of these paths we don't like. Let's say this one we don't like. We can use our selection tool, click on this path, and we can actually move the entire path any way we want. We can also change the shape or whatever it is. Well, the style, excuse me. And we can also edit points and draw over symbols. That's of course there. We're not going to worry about those, but just be aware that you can edit stuff like that. All right, this is really cool, nice and fun. We've got our roads in, we got our little towns in. Let's go ahead and let's go to our labels. This is our label button. We have 3 tools here. We have a box tool that will create a box that we can write stuff in. We have a selection tool, and we have our text tool. Let's go ahead and put a label in for this island. Over on the right side, it tells us the font that we can use, the font size, the font color, presets, town, city, water. We're going to hit water on this. And we're going to double click to create a label. And our label, let's say, we're going to put North Island. All right. Now, interestingly enough, this really isn't the North Island. We're kind of, which is the North Island. So let's go ahead and make this bigger. We select it. We go to our font size. We increase our font. Let's go ahead and we click on this little box right here. We can move it like this with the little rotation arrow, or we can move the whole thing like this. Let's go ahead and move it here. Let's create another one. Click on text, Click down here and go, let's go south. We created a south island. We click right there to put our label in, and we've got our labels. Let's go ahead and label our kingdoms here. Okay, we click this. We're going to go on our land, or let's go city. We're going to click there. Now, something else you can do is you can actually generate a name. I'm horrible at thinking names, so once I click on this, I can go down here to name generator, and it's settlements or bodies of water. Right now, I just want it to, I'm just clicking on the question mark, and our capital now is Willowhurst. So there's Willowhurst. Let's add another label for this town. Go down here to the generator, click there, and this is Cindertown. Let's put that right there. Then this little village up here, click on our label. Bow Lane. Okay, we'll do another one over here. That's a big name, good grief. Flick Spire. Yeah, we're still there. Silver Hollow. Yeah, apparently this generates the biggest names ever. Another label there. Brazenport or whatever. Then another one here. We've got all our labels done. And these can be space savers or anything like that. All right, let's go ahead and... Actually, I want to move this. So let's go ahead and select this. To select it, we have to be in our text, or we can just select it like that. So text, let's move South Island over here. And that's looking pretty good. Let's see what else we can do. The next one, we're going to go into something a little more technical. We're going to go into our overlays, and we're going to add, right here, we're going to add a scale creator. The scale creator, there's a bunch of things, but we're only going to worry, well, let's worry about two of these. Before we put a scale, let's put a frame in here. The third button down is a frame. We just double click it and then hit enable, and it puts a frame on our thing, on our map. We can choose a bunch of different types of frames. This one I'm going with this frame because it looks kind of piratey. I kind of like that. So, and then we can also increase the scale of it. In this case, we're going to keep it about right there. We can add a tint to it. Maybe an amber tint. All right, now we're not going to worry about this color, this tab. We're just going to worry about here. And again, to enable it just right like that. Okay, let's make a scale. Here's our scale. And what we're going to do is we're going to just click and create, and it pops it up right there. And then we can move it to where we want. In this case, let's move this over to our little rose compass. Now, that's 500 miles, and that's huge. We don't want that. So let's go segment distance. Let's go 10 miles. Okay, maybe 5 miles. All right, that kind of shows us where we're at. This is also kind of small. So let's go ahead and adjust the size of this. Oops. Let's make the font size a little bit bigger. 12. Let's go, I don't know, should do 50. There we go. A little bit of an outline there. Let's go our width. Let's make this width a little bit bigger. And just play with this. Play with what it does. Since we're working with an island, I'm just going to hold down the up key and hold down the width key, the height key. Click on this and move it. There we go. And we've just got our map done. All right, let's save this guy really quick. And let's kind of go over what things do again. So our water tool, we can color our water appearance, and it just changes everything. We can make rivers. Let's say we have another river coming down into this lake. Double click to add it. We have a lake tool. Just place our lakes right there. Okay, we have we can color our water if we really wanted to. Or, excuse me, we can make watery things like that, which I don't like. Maybe we have a little swamp there. We can erase those. Let's say I don't like that. We can just get rid of those. And we have our color or brush tool that we can color our brushes and our water bodies. In this case, I don't want to. We have this is again it's called a wind rose tool. We're going to plop that right in the middle of our rose compass, and that's kind of cool. Okay, then land tool, we can create land like that. We can erase land like that. Next tool under that is the raise tool. It kind of makes a jaggedy appearance as such. We can lower it, kind of a jagged, lowered appearance. Let's say we want to do that for some of our river mouths. We can go in and do that. Just makes it more realistic, especially if it's large rivers. Okay, we can also paint the rivers, or excuse me, paint the land. Let's say we had some land over here. We hit paint, and we can go in and paint it any color we want. On our brush size, we can change the brush size to big. We can up the opacity. We can change this to pretty much any color we're feeling like. And then when we erase it, if we're in the land tool, it gets rid of it. All right. Our selection tool, we can select areas. Oops, invalid shape, my bad. And then we can like erase, cut, or copy. Let's say we copy. We can move this other places, but we don't want that, so we'll not mess with that. Paths, same thing. We click here, we choose our path, size, width, color. Symbols, again, the first one is our symbol catalog. It opens all our symbols that we can place. Second one is our trees, opens all our trees and stuff. Mountains, erasers, and selectors if we want to move anything. Let's move this hill here. Let's move this back in there. There, now I'm happy with it. Okay, regions, we won't worry about labels. Again, we click. Let's say this is New Bay. Actually, let's delete that. Let's preset this on the water. Let's call this New Bay. Or, New Bay. The New Bay. Once we got that, we click here and we can move it to wherever we want. Let's say we want this to be labeled as ocean. Let's go with C. Say we wanted to adjust the height of this, we just double click on the lettering. Say we want this big, 150, boom. We're going to, there we go, North Island, South Sea. If we don't want this, we just click on this, double click on it, hit delete, and it gets rid of it. Fun stuff. All right, we can select different things. You can click on text, and then where we click it, it automatically allows us to modify stuff. Let's say this name's too big, Willowhurst. Let's double click that, and let's go Narthis, or something like that. Very token-esque name. See, very easy. All right, overlay, again, we can make a little box. Let's say we have some information here that we want. We click the box, oops, sorry. It's under labels. My bad, ignore that. That's why I do things live. We have our measuring. This right here will help us measure. Oops. Excuse me, this is our measuring tool. Totally messed up this map. Okay. Measuring tool will just help you measure stuff if that's something you're interested in. Your scale tool is right here. And that allows you to update your scale and move it around. This measuring tool is irritating me. Let's just hit clear and get rid of it. Again, scale tool, measuring tool's back. Thank you. Scale tool, if we wanted to make this even bigger, we up the height and width. Height is there. Width is there. Segments. Right now it's in miles. We can make this into kilometers and stuff like that. And then we can change the font of these if we want. Let's go with that. That's a cooler font. All right, that's basically Wonderdraft in a nutshell. Easy to understand, quick little guide. Hope you guys like this. This is kind of fun to do. And we will, let me just see, okay, labels. There's our box. We can put some information in here. We can call this the Dreaded North Islands. Let's say we want to change the font of that to be bigger. There we go. All right, that's what the box does in a nutshell. Let's delete that. All right, let's say we don't like that. We can select it. Delete that. Delete that. There we go. We've got our island. We can edit stuff and we can rearrange stuff and we can do a lot. So that's pretty much how you do a map in Wonderdraft. Hope this helps and have a great day.